What's poppin'? It's your boy V Kush Beats, GTS Movement. Today we got a great topic we kind of been thinking about for the last couple weeks. As you can see below, it's online etiquette, the do's and don'ts. Before we get started in that topic, I want everybody to introduce themselves. Let's get it.
What's up, guys? Travis with T Customs Productions. I'm really excited about this topic today because there's a lot of, I think, a lot of value that a lot of producers can get from this. So, super excited to get into this topic today.
What's up, guys? It's your boy KC. I'm happy to be here too, man. This is the starting point for any of you guys. When you go to basically build a relationship, to buy a beat, to collab with an artist. This is it. This is things that you need to know, and it doesn't apply. Yeah, I'm not gonna even get into it. I'm gonna just pass it off.
What's good? It's your boy Chrisio from MutualSounds.com. For me, this topic really changed my life. It changed my approach towards people, towards other human beings. So definitely looking forward to what we're about to speak about.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Trav, you want to just get a quick overview to get people popped off and get it started?
So basically piggybacking on what Chris just said is like, you know, it changed his life in respect to just relationships with people in general, right? So we're going to speak specifically, we've got online etiquette, but really this is online, offline etiquette. This is just communicating with other human beings in general, you know. We're going to speak specifically on some different topics, some do's and don'ts when you're communicating with people online. Whether you're inquiring about a product, you are inquiring about information, or you're trying to build a relationship to potentially sell somebody on something, all this really applies. And like I said, we're just going to dig into some of the high-level stuff. It's just like I said, this will apply to your business. This will apply to your personal relationships, whether your close friends, your family members, your spouse, your boyfriends, your girlfriends. You know, it's any kind of relationships. It translates online when you're selling, when you're buying, all that. When you're any kind of transaction, whether it's just meeting somebody for the first time or actually some sort of business transaction. So, like I said, we just want to kind of give a high-level overview first and then dig into some specific do's and don'ts and then get into some examples. I think that's really where you guys are going to get a lot of value is actually breaking down some of the actual conversations that we have and we've had in the past with other producers, artists, people in the music community online, not to put anybody out on blast and not to, you know, put out any names. If any of you guys are watching that maybe we're having, you know, we'll talk about some of these conversations. If you know, it's basically just to give you some real life examples of what we see people doing right, what we see people doing wrong, and then just give you some more guidance on how you can really effectively communicate with other people and really just tailor to whatever kind of conversation you're trying to have with them. So, I mean, that's basically a general overview. And we can get into just some basic do's and don'ts. Like, I feel like the two primary things you got to keep into account when you are talking to people in general, you have to, number one, you have to be respectful of people's time. Number two, you have to know who you're talking to. Those are two, and there's a lot of other points that we're going to talk about as well. But I feel like if you take anything away, the time thing is so important. Being respectful of people's time, you know, there's always this trade-off, you know, time is money kind of thing, but like time is our most valuable asset. I've said it time and time again. We've all said it time and time again. Like, you can strip everything else away, but we have a finite amount of time on this earth to do what we want to do with our business, with our family, with our friends, and so if the more time you're taking of other people, the less time they have to do the things that they want to do. You know, if you're inquiring, let's say, for instance, you're inquiring for information or whatever. So being respectful of people's time, to me, is the number one key when you are communicating with other people, and know who you're talking to is a you know, a big second on there. So I don't know if you guys want to dig in anything else specifically with that.
The respect for people's time, you know, we always say that time is more important than money, period.
Yeah.
I can always get more money, but I can't get the time back that I spend, and you should feel the same way. You know, if somebody's wasting your time, you know it, and you know how you feel when somebody's wasting your time. You don't like it when some artists may hit you up and you know that they're not buying, and you know that they have no interest in buying, but they keep asking you and asking you and asking you certain things. You know that they're wasting your time, and you treat them a certain way. Well, understand that, when you're doing things like that, the person that you're speaking to is thinking the same things about you. So you gotta just take into consideration, put yourself in the other person's shoes, basically, when you're asking about or you want to know something from someone, you want to get some information. Put yourself in that person's shoes and just be respectful of their time. I mean, they have a life just like you have a life, and if you're constantly asking them questions, you're keeping them away from maybe some of the things that are important to them.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it translates into, say for instance, you're meeting somebody for the first time. Another thing to touch on the do's would be like being respectful of people's time and know who you're talking to, but then engaging by putting the person that you're talking to as a priority and not just saying like, me, I, using those pronouns, but actually, showing that you actually care about the other person, and again, that translates not just in business, but that goes obviously with personal relationships, family and friends and all that. So that was kind of something that, covers both aspects.
Yeah, and you've got to look at it as it's a long-term thing as well. Depending on how you speak to the person initially, you may miss out on an opportunity by putting them off. It's all about first impressions at the end of the day, and yeah, I guess the most important thing is, like you said, Trav, is putting yourself in their. I think you said it, Brian. Putting yourself in their shoes, because again, if you waste their time, you've got to think about how they're gonna feel, and you could potentially be missing out on that opportunity. You don't know how crucial that opportunity could be, or what that relationship could lead on to in the future. So it's all about executing it the right way from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what you say with our marketing. Do what made you reply to somebody, and maybe a lot of you, if you haven't had it done right to you, should definitely be taking notes right now. But if ever someone just hit you with the link right away, just saying, "Hey, check out my music," did you actually go and check out their music? Or, "Hey, check out my new song." Did you actually go, or did you just kind of bypass that? Probably bypassed it. So if that person would have came at you differently and made a different first impression and actually took the time to get to know you and build a little bit of rapport with you, you would have checked that link out later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The knowing who you're talking to thing is extremely important. I know we're all producers, and most people watching this are probably producers, and I'm sure you get messages all the time from other producers asking you to check out their beats because they didn't take the time to notice that you make beats also. And I mean, I know for me it's annoying. I've gotten used to it because it happens so much, but for the most part, I mean, just know who you're talking to.
You've gotten used to it. What happens is that becomes it's like cookie cutter messages. A lot of times you see the same thing, and so if those get responded to at all, they're going to get responded to last. They get pushed to the back. So when you're talking to people, whether it's through email, through a Facebook message, through a text or phone conversation, you got to make sure you know what this person. First off, what they can do for you, what you're planning to do for them, or depending on it's depend on the conversation, what the conversation is intended to help you do or help them do. If it's a mutual transaction, but know that their time, like especially if you're contacting somebody like that is super busy, especially. I mean, for everyone, but especially somebody who's getting many inquiries a day. If you don't stand out with your message, your shit's getting pushed to the back. If you don't, they may not respond to it, but if they do, it's not going to get responded to until later because they want to get those ones. Okay, let me go ahead and talk about this real quick. It's like if you know somebody's a business person and you're contacting them about a product or about information or buying one of their products or services, whatever, you know that they're a business person. You know they're making money doing what they do. So do you think if you send them something that is about them, that is potentially going to make them money or help them in some way, that they're going to be more likely to respond to it? Of course they are. Of course they are. So you got to get that out, and you got to make that impression with your message. Otherwise, you get pushed to the back, or you don't get responded to at all. So,
which is more often than not.
The thing is, it's I mean, to be honest with you, the law of reciprocity pretty much comes into play with stuff like that. Like, if you want something from somebody, you have to give up something first. Like, what do you have to offer the person that you're speaking to make them even want to talk to you? Like, if you hit me up and you know that I'm super busy and you say, look, Kush, I know you're busy. Can I ask you a question? A question is the key. You know what I mean? It's you don't want to monopolize my time, but you know that there's something that you want to know. And if you know that I'm busy, you're letting me know that I know you're busy. I'm more likely to even pay attention because you know I'm busy, as opposed to you hitting my inbox and just flooding me with question after question after question. More than likely, I'm probably going to respond to one and then not respond after that because you've monopolized my time.
I've actually got a really good example of that we'll get into. I'm going to paraphrase some of the conversation. Like I said, we want to get into some actual examples that to really just highlight the kind of stuff that we're talking about, more so than just talking about the overview and general points. But you covered don'ts. Ask multiple questions. If you're hitting somebody up for information, again, it goes back to being respectful of their time. Give it to them in bits. You know, if you want to take somebody's time, take only a little bit of it. Take a minute of their time here and let them know up front, hey, I know you're busy. You know, I just want to take a minute of your time. I got a quick question. I really appreciate it in advance you taking time out.
Yep.
And you see what he did? He didn't ask the question yet. He's still waiting to get permission to ask the question. I get caught with a lot of questions that start off good, but then they go and ask a bunch of other questions right after they put that before I even get to respond. So take note on that.
Definitely.
Yeah. You mentioned posting a link, you know, especially upon first contact. That's an absolute no-no. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Unless somebody's contacting you, asking you for a link, that's one thing. But you never post the link up front. Don't do it. It's going to be a major turnoff. It's going to look salesy. People are going to think you're whack. They're going to be turned off by it. Don't do it. Talk to them first. Talk to them like human beings, you know. And one thing I see a lot is people who come at me with some sort of entitlement to whatever. And it's like, it's one thing if you're a customer of mine, okay? Like if, let's say you bought a product from me, you bought something from me, and you're coming at me with some customer support issue, right? Maybe you had a problem with your download link or whatever. That's one separate issue. That's a separate thing. You could come at me potentially in a whack way, even though it's not, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But because you're a customer, you have money invested, I'll still have to respond to you some way as a customer service representative for my company. I have to do something to make sure my customers are happy. But specifically in the cases when you're asking for something, you're looking for something in return, and you're not like specifically giving something up front in exchange. For instance, you're just asking for some information, you got a question, never act entitled. Like, never come with like, they owe you something, because people don't owe you anything. You got to prove that you deserve what you get. And it's like, it goes back to something that I've talked about recently, was like, if you come at me with a question and I go on your Facebook page or go on your website, or not your website, but like on our social medias, and I see that you're posting garbage, you're posting, you know, mindless stuff on your page, and you're not taking your business seriously, I'm not gonna even entertain the question, because I know you're not serious. I want to help people who are actively building their business, in this case, who are putting in work. You know, that's the people that I want to help. So, you know, this entitlement thing really kills me, and I see it in a lot of messages, and it probably will come through in some of these examples we get into here in a little bit.
I'm glad that you mentioned that about, you know, you checking to see like what they're posting, because I get questions all the time, and the first thing, if I don't know who you are, I'll go to your wall to see, okay, what are you posting? And 9 times out of 10, when it comes to like producers and stuff, I rarely see anything that's of value on that person's wall. I always, you know, it's always the same thing. If all I see is ghetto fights and crazy stuff like that, I'm more than likely not going to respond, because I can see that you're not about your business. You have nothing of value to offer, so I'm not going to waste my time with that. And I could be wrong, but it's from what I see. I can only go by what I see. So if I don't see you posting value or you even helping anyone else,
Or not even
I'm
that,
gonna
but
move
just
on.
that you're like coming across professional. Because I see a lot of people, even if you're not like yourself, you're still learning in the stages, and you're not necessarily. But it's just like it's a first impression. It's like you go based on what you see. It doesn't matter who you really are or what you really are on the inside. It's like what you're portraying to the public. So that's what people are going to see. And if they see
And
it, if they don't get a good impression, they're not going to mess with you. They may not even respond to your message.
and I mean, online perception is everything. Like
You can't.
if people look at your wall and all they see is negativity, then
Mm.
the thought process is that this is a negative person, and people don't want to be around. I think Chaz just said this. Like people don't want to be surrounded by negativity. People don't entertain it, and it's not good for business.
It,
Yeah, it's like you can do all the networking in the world on Facebook. You can build your friends list to the maximum, but then if you're posting stuff on your wall that people don't want to see, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose potential customers. You're gonna lose potential people because, like Ryan said, they don't want to be around that, and it's the same thing. And I think that's really important. If you're watching this and you're thinking, I've asked questions before, or I'm not getting the results I want to get, or that kind of thing, then I think it's really important that you've got to step back and look at what you're doing and see if that's you, if you're actually doing things that are holding you back, that
I
are
can
stopping
I
you
can
from getting questions answered and things like that.
I know for myself, like I know for a while I used to just post like random shit, World Star videos, and like I really had to look at my wall and figure out, okay, Kush, what are you doing wrong? And it's like I did all the negative stuff. I'm not telling you like I've never done any of these things. I've done a lot of this shit that we're talking about. Like I posted video after video after video of stuff that shouldn't be on my wall that was potentially hurting my business. When I realized that, I said, you know what? I gotta stop doing that. And then I had to do certain things like I don't let people post on my wall because I don't know who's gonna post something on my wall and what they're gonna post. And if I'm not able to delete it at that moment in time, that could potentially hurt my business, and it's not even me. Like you have to understand that this is your business. What people see and what you put out there is what people think you are.
Yeah,
Even if it's not who you are as a person, what you're showing people is this is what I support. This is what I'm about.
and it's kind of crazy. You don't realize it until someone says it, but how much we pre-qualify. If someone messages you, you always 90% of the time I go and check their page, like
mm,
kind of see what they're about, see what they do to see how I can respond to them.
Yep.
mm.
And if I see someone posting more negative stuff, I'm not going to entertain that conversation. Even they've ruined that conversation for me to even continue it.
Yeah, it's different when they're talking about money. It's like I think what a lot of these conversations that we have are people just hitting us up because we've provided a lot of information as far as building a music business, and people have messaged us on social media asking for information. Now, like I said, it's a little bit different when money's involved. Somebody's contacting you about a consultation. Somebody's contacting you about purchasing a product or a service that you offer. Like that's a little bit different. Again, you're going to get priority. It's not because the people who run the businesses are dicks. It's not because it's the nature of business. Like that stuff gets put to the forefront. That's how we survive. That's how we are able to do what we do. This isn't all for kicks and jollies. This is a business that we're running. I mean, it is fun, but it's like we can only do so much stuff for free, and we only have so much finite time in a day. So we have to kind of figure out, okay, what's priority for today? And if your message, if your inquiry didn't come as a priority, maybe it gets answered, maybe it doesn't get answered today, it gets pushed to the next day. But like I said, know who you're talking to. Know who you're talking to, and know, especially somebody who's the high priority and has or a high authority and has a lot of business. Know that they're getting a lot of inquiries per day. So how can you stand out? How can you be respectful of their time? Let them know up front, hey, I'm just going to take a minute, get right to the point. What is it? Okay, get in, get out, and hopefully get your question answered or get whatever it was you were trying to get out of that conversation. But
Yep.
yeah.
yeah, being respectful just of people's time and who they are is big. I think a lot of people confuse me because I schedule like all my posts for the week for the most part. So they think that I'm always on Facebook, online, and I'm always just sitting. I'm doing a lot more than that. I have a day set aside where I schedule posts and I plan things for those days so it comes out. So it looks like I'm giving you guys regular content like I'm supposed to be doing. But I'm not just sitting there wasting time. We're all of us are all doing tons of things throughout the day. So even if it doesn't seem like that person is even getting a lot of inquiries, if you don't know, still respect their time either way, because you don't know what they're doing, because you don't know them, especially if you're trying to make a first impression.
The key is if you know that someone's constantly giving out great content and you watch the videos and you watch and you like the content and you want to ask that person something, what I do is I assume that everyone is as busy as I am. So I know that I don't want people wasting my time. So when I ask someone a question, I don't expect them to respond back just like that. If they don't respond back, they don't respond back. That's just something I have to deal with. They don't have to deal with it. And don't be discouraged if they don't, because you don't know how busy that person is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times your message may get lost in a sea of messages.
Yeah.
And you just you kind of got to deal with it.
Or you change your approach. I mean, the thing is like if you strategize your message in a certain way, make it stand out. Don't make it blend in with those 50 messages that they got that day. Like if you can make it stand out in some way, and it appeals to that person, they'll respond. I mean, if they don't, that's one thing. But it's like if you're seeing consistency and you've inquired about certain information or you've hit somebody up and you're consistently not getting responses back, it's not just everybody out there doesn't run their business right. It's something maybe with you in the way that they're perceiving the message you're sending to them.
Yep.
Touching on don'ts, we touched on a lot, but one more that I think, Chris, did you mention like don't tell people to search you?
Oh, yeah.
You want to touch on that?
So I mean, I've been getting that quite a bit. I mean, not just producers, mainly artists, but me as a person, when I speak to someone initially, I want it to be all about them and I want to get to know more about them. So, for example, with an artist or even with a producer, if I speak to a producer for the first time and I ask them how their music is going, I will always ask them for a link to their music so I can check it out and see what they're about, see what kind of music they make, so I can then go on to speak about their music and make it more relevant to them. And it's just frustrating sometimes when you're trying to show interest in someone and they tell you, so you ask them, okay, have you got a link to your music? And they tell you, go and search for me on this website, go and search for me on YouTube, or go and search for me on Google. And it's like, how many people are actually going to run that search? Because you're supposed to be making it as easy for that person to check out your music. I mean, look at it from the perspective of if you're an artist and a producer hits you up, you don't know who that person is. Unless you've actually done your research and checked them out, you don't know. That person could be looking for someone to sign. That person could be looking for someone to promote or make a blog post about, or you just don't know. And you could be messing up that opportunity by telling them to go and search for you when you can easily get a link, send them a link that they just have to click and make their life a lot easier. And on the flip side, if you're a producer and an artist might be asking to buy beats off you, and straight away you've put them off because they don't have time to be going and Googling you. They might as well go to someone else who's going to give them a link straight to their beat player and they can shop for beats there and then. So that's a major don't, basically.
Let me just interject real quick.
Yep.
It comes across pompous when you say check me out or Google me or check me out on DatPiff. You can search it. It comes across like you're above sending them a link. That's really the way that it comes across. Whether that's the way you mean it or not, that's the way that it comes across. And so again, it's perception. It's not about what your intention was. Even if your intention was not to be a dick about it, they're looking like, who is this pompous on his high horse? I got to go to this search engine and type him in. He can't just link me. And that's the way that we all feel when people do that. So if that's not your intention, just correct it, because that's the way it's coming across.
Yeah, and the thing that Chris said was, we don't have time. If you're coming to an artist, and I mean, if an artist is coming to you and you said Google it, he said you don't have time. They don't have time. We're respecting people's time. Make their time. If you give them a link, it's a click, and they're on your website.
Exactly.
That speeds it up. Otherwise, they'll have to do a 2-minute search to find you. They don't even know if it's the right you, especially if they're not spelling your name right, or if you didn't even give them your stage name or anything. That wastes a whole bunch of time, and they don't have time for that. Exactly.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time.
I know. Before we got on, I was telling the guys about, I was at the airport, and me and my boy at the airport, and we ran into Malice from the Clips. So we walk over to him, introduce ourselves. I'm like, yo, I got beats. And he's like, oh, word, give me a disc. So I pull out a disc. I give him the disc. And my boy, he's a producer also. He says, oh, I make beats too. And he's like, word, give me a disc. And he's like, oh, you can Google me. And Malice laughed, like literally laughed in his face and said, why would I Google you? And like instantly I thought, yo, why would you even say that? Because it makes us both look bad. Like, even though I was prepared, he said, why would I Google you? And he's like, he pointed to me, he's like, you need to be more prepared. And like, was like him, like your boy. And it was just kind of like you just killed the deal for both of us. Is kind of what I thought. But it was like, you made yourself look like an ass to somebody who could potentially have put you on. And
it's Malice.
You don't want to.
and
it's like they were 3 albums deep already.
And think of how busy he is.
But the thing is, even on a lower level with like a local artist, first of all, most people watching this are having trouble selling beats in general. Okay, so if you're having trouble selling beats right now and someone's asking about your music, first of all, most of the time no one's asking about your music in general. They don't even care. But when somebody does say, hey, can you give me a link, and you say Google me, they're not going to Google you. They're going to go to SoundClick or SoundCloud or My Flashstore and find somebody else's beats, because I'm not even going to be bothered with you. And you potentially lost a client that could have been a client for years, because you didn't want to give them a link, because you. I mean, it's just you kind of got to watch the things that you say to people because of the way it comes off. It's like Travis said, it just comes off pompous, and no one's going to deal with that. Even if that wasn't your intention, no one's going to deal with that.
Right.
And with the whole wording thing and how you come at someone, it's technology. We can't tell how you're saying something. So just be aware of what you're writing and how you're writing it, even in that sense too.
Yep.
And also, I mean, to bring it back into the real world, like even offline, if you go to a supermarket, for example, and you're looking for something and you can't find it on one of the aisles, and one of the staff comes up to you and you say, I'm looking for this, they're going to tell you where to go for it. They're not going to say, figure it out yourself. You know, they're going to tell you which aisle it's in, because they know you want to buy it. It's the same thing. You know, you're making it as easy as possible for the whether they're a customer or they're not a customer. You want to make it as easy as possible for them, because they'll remember it.
They're not going to tell you to Google which aisle it's in. A lot of times the good stores will actually bring you to the aisle and show you where the item is, and that's what you want to be, that customer service. You want to give them that link and make it as easy as possible for them to get their item. And
especially when you're starting out and you're trying to launch your business. If you're in the infancy stages, or you're once you get to a next level, you may have to hire out more customer service, or you have to be more scarce with who you respond to. But especially starting out, you want to make sure that those customers that are coming to you, that are interested, make it easy for them. Make it easy for them.
I know for me, most of the customers my clients that I have that buy beats from me all the time, it's all come from either Facebook, or even back when MySpace was up, them asking for a link to my page, and them buying a track, and then us building me and them building rapport before that. Them saying, "Yo, I'm doing a project. Send me a link." I send them a link. They buy a beat, and they've been rocking with me since 2007. You know what I mean? It's 2014. I've had customers since 2007 that consistently still buy beats from me, and it's only because I built that rapport. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you guys got clients that just rock with you.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, I don't even consider them clients. Like they're literally, they've become friends of mine because of the
family. Some of them are family.
Because of the work that we put in. I mean, they call like happy birthday, or because of that, because we built that rapport. And yeah, it came from a sale, but those are the type of customers that you want to have, and it doesn't happen if you monopolize people's times and you don't approach them the right way. You never get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like either last week or the week before, I had an artist who messaged me on SoundCloud and was like, "I'm going to the studio today. Send me a link so I can buy that beat." Now, if I had told him to Google it, I wouldn't have got that sale. You know, it's all about making it as easy as possible for your customers.
Yeah. Were there any other points you guys want to touch on? I mean, we could get into like some.
The other thing was is just I know we talked about this before, but it's don't tag your whole list in your any link. Just stop tagging people with links. Like I don't want to get into it too much because we talk about it a lot, but it's just a problem, and people keep doing it. I know I get that message. Me and Chaz got a message. We both got tagged in the same thing. It doesn't work.
And
the
again,
person who go ahead.
And again, in that post, it was a beat maker. Again, it's going back to know who you're talking to. It was a beat maker trying to sell us a beat. It said the post had a link to a SoundCloud, and it said, make sure you buy this track, get this track, or who wants to buy this track? And it's like, yo, we're producers. Like, first of all, you wasted your time by typing in our name and tagging it to it, and then you're not being respectful of our time because we're checking this to see what we got tagged in. And you didn't take the time to know who we were, to build that rapport with us.
And it's spam.
It's
unsolicited. I didn't ask to hear your music. If I ask you for a link, send me a link. If I don't ask you for a link, don't send me a link. And it's that simple.
Yeah. It's about making it personal.
Basically.
But yeah, we can get into some of these examples. I know Trav's got a lot of good examples.
Well, Chris kind of just touched on it a little bit. So I mean, I said, as far as like, well, that's more like sending people. But basically, so what I've done is I've actually gone through some of my email conversations, some of my Facebook conversations. I've just gone through and I've just ones in recent times, probably in the past couple of weeks. I just pulled a couple, and I want to highlight some different things. And basically, these are just representative of the types of conversations that we have with people, whether they're inquiring about information or inquiring about products, way that you can improve your communication with people online in general. And like I said, in personal life, this stuff applies too. But basically, so I'll go ahead and just get into it. I'm looking. I'm not going to share screen anything. I'm not going to share anybody's information. If you're watching this and we've had this conversation, don't take it personally. I'm just using this as a representation of the types of conversations we have, and just take what words are being said and help correct it for the future. That's pretty much.
Like if you feel like if you've done any of these things, just avoid doing them from now on.
Yeah, and then we're going to tell you how to correct it. I mean, basically. Like we've already talked about, but basically, okay. So the guy hits me up. He's like, "Hey man, I love your work, blah blah blah." So basically, that was a good. As far as I'm concerned, let me go ahead and read it. All. So I love your work. I say, "Hey man, thanks I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you." So he hits me back and says, "Hey man, I need a beat. I need like a trap beat, okay?" Sends me a link to some he's like, "I need something like this. You have something like that? Can you make it?" I said, "Hey man, I don't make trap beats, right?" So he says, "Okay, yeah. Do you know somebody who can make one?" So then I replied, "I'm not." Basically, this is the gist of the conversation. So he says, "Hey, I like your work. I need a beat. I need a trap beat. I say I don't make trap beats. He says, do you know somebody who does? Okay, so that's the summary of the conversation. He started okay because it's a compliment. He said he loves my beats, so that means apparently he's either listened to my music in some regard. From the enthusiasm I can see with his exclamation mark and smiley face and thing, like I can tell that it's genuine. It seems genuine from the message. So okay, I say thanks. Then he follows up with the trap. I need a trap beat. Okay, now first off, he said I love your beat. So if he loves my beats, my presumption is he's gone through at least a handful of the beats in my catalog, right? How can you love something if you don't really know what it is, right? So if you listen to one beat and he likes it, I mean, you can't say you love somebody's beats because you listen to like 1 or 2 tracks. You typically are going to go through at least a handful of tracks. So if any of you guys know my production style, I like trap beats. I just don't make trap beats. Trap is not my style of production. It just don't. I don't have a single trap beat in my catalog. I've never released a trap beat to the public online at all. So there should be no confusion about that. And the fact that he started out right, but then he says, hey, I need a trap beat, and I'm saying, yo, I don't make trap beats. So that makes me think, okay, does he really even know my work? After he said he loves my work, does he even really know it? Does he know that? And so had he said, let me give you a better example. Had he said, hey, man, I love your work. I need a trap beat. Now, I know you don't make trap beats, but I'm looking for a reference if you know a producer that makes trap beats. Now, some producer might say, well, why would you refer business to another producer? You know, that's a different conversation, whether you want to do that or not. I've got people on the team that I don't care referring. I know people who make dope trap beats, and I don't care to say, hey, I don't make trap beats, but I know somebody who does. But the fact that he didn't recognize that I don't make trap beats, it turned me off. It turned me off because it makes me think that he's lying to me about liking my music when he doesn't even really know that. So he started out good, and then it just like he followed up with something that made me think he wasn't genuine about his initial comment. So basically, I don't make trap beats. And another thing is trap beats are easy to find. It's like you don't need to ask somebody for a recommendation on trap beats. You know what I mean? It's like there's a surplus in the market. I don't know if you guys can hear this thunder going on in the background or not, but I'm kind of storming over here. You know, trap beats there's a surplus in the market, and it's not like it's tough to find a quality trap beat. They're out here. Again, I don't have anything against it. It's just not my style. I just don't make trap beats. So again, it goes back to knowing who you're talking to. That was one of our primary dues, is knowing who you're talking to. If you don't come across like you're talking to, it's going to be a turnoff, and you may not get what you want out of that conversation.
And you probably ruined another opportunity. Say you weren't looking for a trap beat for the next song. If he sees a message from that same guy, he's going to probably disregard what that guy's going to say because he already has this pre-assumption thing against this guy based on what his first message said. So what to say he was looking for a soulful beat next time. Not saying that Travis probably wouldn't be interested in looking in that, but, you know, he kind of ruined his chances of getting that open again.
Yeah.
I'm saying if money's on the table, it's different. You know, I mean, like, if I had a trap beat to refer him to, I would have linked him to it. If he's coming at me saying he wants something and money's on the table, but it's just, again, know who you're talking to. Know who you're talking to.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it works the same way for producers, you know. You can't be, you want to sell beats, but you don't want to be forcing a trap beat on an artist that doesn't make trap music. You know, it's the same thing. You've got to know, that's why you need to check out their music and know what kind of beats they go for, because otherwise, you just, if you're like, oh yeah, I checked out your tracks, you're really hot, I think you should use one of my beats, and then they ask you, okay, what was your favorite track, and you haven't listened to their music, you end up looking silly.
Yeah, that's another way you can make sales too. If you do respect an artist's music as a producer and you're trying to sell beats, know what they do, know what kind of music they make, and if they're looking for beats, know a beat in mind in your catalog that you can suggest to them. I mean, even if it's not one that they like or that they want to use, at least have something in mind, and they say, okay, I kind of like this, but I'm looking for something more like this, and then that'll give you a better idea of what else to suggest. And once they hear a couple beats they like, then they're going to get more engaged in your catalog. They're going to start going through all of your stuff. So just sending, sometimes just sending somebody to your main beat store isn't enough. If they're looking for something specific and you're trying to make that money, help them out. Like, point them in the right direction.
I had speaking of what you just said, Travis, I had did a track. Actually, no, I was on Facebook and I had hit up artist from Philadelphia, Sandman, and he said he was looking for tracks. So me knowing I listen to Sandman, I listen to the clips, I know what he's looking for. This is back when the Rehab Gang was still going on, and I'm like, all right, so I know what he likes. I said, okay, I'll send it over. I didn't send him to my link. I didn't send him anything. I know he wants something. I said, okay, I'm gonna send you some joints. I said, pick one of these snippets to let me know which way you're going. He picked a snippet with the one that he liked. I said, okay, I got beats in that vein. So now I know I can craft those beats specifically for this person. That was 3 years ago. We've done 17 songs together, 4 videos, and that's my homie. Like, he hits me up for tracks and pays before he even gets the songs done because he knows my work ethic. That doesn't happen if it only happens if you build that rapport with somebody. If you go through the steps of getting to know this person, knowing what they like, and giving them what they like. People, I don't know if anybody on who's watching this has ever sold an exclusive beat that you didn't make yet. Like, you didn't even make the track yet, but he's already paid for the track. He's like, just send me 4 beats over. Like, because he knows what he's gonna get.
Know, like, and trust.
That's it.
The triangle of trust, man. Like, that's the circle of trust.
People don't up $1,000 and just, all right, send me something. Like, I just sent you $1,000. Make me some beats. Like, that day, I'm making beats that day specifically for him at that point.
Dude, when you talk about permission marketing, that's like the best level of permission. It's called intravenous. It's basically like you're buying something, like you ever go to a subscription and they just send you something based on their recommendation. It's kind of the same thing. Like, he trusts you enough. You're at like an intravenous level. He needs beats. He's buying them ahead of time, and you just send him the tracks.
It's like this. I'm in a trunk club. Like, this T-shirt I got from a trunk club, right? I pay a certain amount of money every month, and they just send me a box of clothes. Like, whether I think Kush would like this, tailored to whatever they think I like, and they just send me clothes. I pay for it in advance.
No.
And that's what it is. It's like, and I rarely ever have returned anything that they've sent me because they know what I like. And it's that simple. It's kind of the same thing. You want to have that rapport. Once you build that type of relationship with people, that's how it works.
Yep. So take the time out and get to know who you're talking to. Because you can build that. You could possibly be the next person to sell exclusives before you even make the beat.
And that's
but if you don't go listen to their music, if you don't know how they rap or what they like, and you try and sell them on something they don't, it's wasting their time and your time, really.
And so it's like when, if he hits me up, his phone call takes precedence over anybody who calls me. Like, if you hit me up on the message and he hits me up at the same time, you immediately go to the back burner. Like, I'm not even looking at that message because I know what the potential is with this, and that's the type of customers you want. You want to. I mean, at the end of the day, you want customers that you have your set clients, and anybody who's not in that circle, well, they get pushed to the wayside. And sometimes even with producers, when producers ask us questions, there's a certain, if anybody on this panel or anyone in GTS asks me a question, I'm open to them because I have something invested in them. And, you know what I mean? That's my family. But if somebody on the outside is coming in and Travis asked me something, guess what? Well, your question didn't get answered because Travis is in the fam, and that shit comes first. Right. And that's kind of how it is.
And
because of the rapport.
And another thing, you don't just want those one beat sales. You want to build a rapport, and it's easier to sell to somebody you've already sold to. So if you don't build a rapport with them, you won't be able to sell to them again.
It makes it easier when you build the rapport. it makes it a lot easier to have those returning customers. That's it, man. I want to go ahead and get into another example because this kind of ties into one of our other don'ts that we've already discussed in the bullet points. So basically, it starts out. I'm going to paraphrase this. Another Facebook conversation that I had about a month ago. This guy has messaged me before. Has been following like the music marketing stuff that videos and such. So he's messaged me about building his music business and all that, which is cool. He's hit me up before. I've talked to him. I've answered some of his questions, whatever. So now he hits me up. He's like, hey man, how's it going? I'd really like to ask you some questions if you don't mind. Now that's cool because he basically that's a form of respecting my time. I was like, if you don't mind, he's showing some consideration there, and then he just goes into it. If you're selling a beat, it's face to face. How's the transaction done? You do it through PayPal or Western Union. Now he's going on like, is there an agreement? Blah blah. Hold on, I'm trying to paraphrase some of this without getting into all of it. Basically, this is like a long drawn out conversation, a long drawn out paragraph of questions, question after question after question. It gets into how do you copyright your beats? What pro do you use? BMI, ASCAP. Just compiled question after question, and that was one of the things that we already talked about. Was don't, especially if you're not paying for a consultation or you don't have this isn't a client or this isn't somebody that you're paying for a service. You're just asking for free information. Like, be respectful of their time by getting straight to the point and asking a single question. If you need a question answered, give it to them in bits and pieces that they can easily digest. So hey, let me read a little bit more. I read that. I read all these questions that he had. I said, hey man, you have some great questions. I'd be happy to help. However, this would be great if we did this in like a video hangout. I offered him if he wants to bring without having to charge him for a consultation. I offered him if he wants to bring other people on. If I can get numbers seeing what I'm talking about, I'm able to do it for free. I don't care to do that. I'm able to take time out of my schedule. Again, you're taking time out of my schedule, right? To ask me multiple questions. When I'm running a full-time business myself, I've already got a checklist of things that I have to do, and this message is conflicting with what I have going on in the priorities of things that I have to do that day. So okay, I'm happy to do this. If you give people on, he's like, hey man, this is basically what he responds. If you don't want to answer these questions, just say so. I just wanted to ask some questions. I'm a fan of what you do. I understand you can do these video conferences. That's not what I'm in need of. I said, okay, cool, not a problem. I was just trying to give you a free alternative. If you don't want to do bring people onto a hangout, I have an offer a consultation. I didn't really want to charge you for this, but if you want to do that, you can do a consultation too, because the questions you're asking are not simple questions. They're not something I can just type up in a couple of sentences and answer. You're getting into more specifics and detailed questions that I don't have time to sit here and type you out a long paragraph for every answer. I mean, I just don't have the time to do it, especially if you're not paying for a consultation. Obviously my customers come first. So I understand this. I'm trying to read some more of this. Is this video call necessary? Again, no. Okay. So he's like, so basically you can't answer these questions through text. I said I can. If you want to send me a single question that can be easily answered, I can do that. The message you sent has a lot of in-depth questions that are easier to answer in video form. And I said, does that sound okay? I didn't get a response back, right? So that just gives you a little more. You guys can dissect it how you want, whatever you see in that. But basically, the main concern that I had with that, he opened up fine. I had spoken to him before. He was polite. He was respectful. But he just bombarded me with a crap load of questions. And the fact that the way he was making his sentences, it made me seem like he was expecting a response back like right away. Like he was entitled to this information just because he was a fan and was following what I do, because I've given out so much other information. Like he can just bombard me with all these questions. I tried to explain it to him in the nicest way possible with all these responses. He still didn't get it, apparently, because he just didn't respond back. So what's your guys' take on that?
The thing is, you go.
Go ahead, Chad.
All right, so the thing is, like Travis said, a lot of those things talking about performance rights organizations and consulting a person on selling a beat and exclusive, that stuff, there's a lot of things that go into that. And yeah, he could type up a little paragraph, but what if you don't get what he said? Then he has to waste another paragraph or 2 or 3 explaining it again. And then what if he didn't get exactly what you wanted? Then he has to go and explain it again. That's a lot. It goes into a lot longer process than it should be in a video call.
Yeah,
It's the equivalent to me being an artist and me walking up to Rick Ross and ask him, "Yo, how did you get on? Oh, how did you shoot that video?" Like me just hitting Rick Ross with 1,000 questions and him looking at me like, "No, I'm not. No." He wouldn't take the time to even answer that because this word time is going to keep coming up in all of our answers because it's like the most important thing. But like people aren't going to take that time out of their day because he's got things to do. He's busy. He doesn't have time to answer my local MC questions.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth it to him.
Okay.
Now if I say, Rick Ross, I'm going to pay you $1,000 if you can answer these questions for me, he'd be, oh, okay, well, let me take an hour out of my day to answer these questions for you because it's worth his time now.
Yes. Okay.
And that's what it is.
I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm not as busy as I'm busy, but Trav has a lot more clients than me. My girlfriend made me go buy a whiteboard the other day to write down all the stuff that's on my mind and things I need to get done, so she understands why I'm always over here. You see this whiteboard? All of these are things that I need to do. And I know Travis probably has a list. I know Brian probably has a list. I know Chris probably has a list. You guys probably, you guys probably have.
This is one of 4. This is a small one. This is one of 4 whiteboards that I have. So
that is a 3 foot by 2 foot board. You can't tell behind me. We have a lot of things. Time is the biggest thing in all of our lives, especially as entrepreneurs. And when you come at people with questions like that, you don't understand. You're taking away from this whole thing right here. And these are the things we stress out about this stuff every day because we need to get it done. And then when you come out with, it's not that we're trying to be rude. We're not trying, like Travis says, he wasn't trying to charge him and take his money. But if you can make it worth it for him, if you had come at him with a different approach, you might have probably gotten those answers. If you would have gathered a couple of other producer friends, or even gone online and searched on Facebook producers and got a couple of people saying, "Hey, I'm trying to do a hangout," you probably could have got that for free, got all your answers answered, and you would have made it worth your time and his time.
Or just spaced out the questions, man. And that was really like, if he just would have hit me with one, because that's only, if I take one question and something I can answer, even if I have to type out a couple sentences, I'm okay with that. I'm okay taking 2 minutes out to answer a question. I'm not okay sitting here, racking my brain on how to answer 5 questions back to back to back for one person. It's just not in my. I'm not capable of doing that with my current schedule. I just can't do it. So again, I wasn't being rude to the person. I tried to be as nice as I could. And if he doesn't understand, he doesn't understand. But
to be honest, he was kind of disrespectful in a sense, like, "Oh, you can't answer my questions," like.
And even if he didn't mean it that way, that's how I'm pretty sure all of us took it.
Yeah. But that's
it came off that way. Like, I know you read it with an attitude in your head.
I did. It's like, but that's another thing to even keep into account is that when it comes through in text, the emotion sometimes can get lost. So be wary of that. Even if it's not what your intent is, make sure that what the phrases and sentences that you put together, that they really truly reflect what you're trying to project to the person.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of things that can get lost. If you put I'm not for guys with like smiley faces and stuff, but if
well, he could have easily said, like, "Look, I'm not trying to be a dick," or he could have just said
something.
You know what I mean? And he could have said that, and you'd be like, okay, because in your head you'd be like, okay, let me calm down. But when you don't say that, my mind goes to negative. Like, what? No, now I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, especially because I was doing him a favor. I mean, he was asking me for a favor, and it's like, you got to be overly considerate when you're asking people for favors, especially if you don't have like a long-standing relationship with them. But even if you do, I mean, it doesn't matter. You got to it goes back to be respectful of people's time and
don't feel like you're talking to them.
Bombard them with a bunch of stuff at once.
That question hit 3 different things.
Yeah.
He wasn't respectful of your time. Fucking, he didn't build any rapport. He felt like he was entitled to the answer.
Right.
Like, it's just, it's one of those things that the whole thing with the text, like, we're going to interpret, or people are going to interpret something. It may be different than what you wanted to put out there.
Yeah.
Because there's no emotion behind it. You know what I mean? So just watch what you're typing in a message to people, because it can come off the wrong way, and you may not have meant it like that at all.
And I think, too, the reason why it affects a lot of us who are providing or helping other people, too, is like they see us, they come to expect it. Like they see us giving away so much information that when they inquire about something, they just expect it because we've given so much other information. So it's like we do this. It takes a lot of work to to put these webinars together, to put out the videos that we put out, and it's like we understand that there's a need for that in the community. So the fact that we do the videos is a big deal for us, like taking time out of our schedule to do that. And like I said, when people just, man, I don't know, man. I just get frustrated. It's like people bite the hand that feeds them, basically, is what it comes down to. That I think that's the best kind of thing to explain it.
There's only a handful of people that are doing what we do right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's, I mean, honestly, there's if you go on YouTube, there's 20 of us. Okay? Like, and I'm not just talking about GTS, I'm talking about in general. There's 20, 30 of us that are actually doing this for producers.
Mm.
There are millions of producers on YouTube selling beats, or trying to sell beats, or showcasing their beats. There's only 20 or 30 of them that are actually helping people to make money with them. So, and like I said, you've seen the whiteboards. We all have things that we have to do every single day. We make this a part of our schedule to get that done.
And a lot of the times, this little hour, 45-minute webinars aren't really the time that we take in. This is not the only time we put in to do that. We listen to audios every day, half-an-hour audios to prepare us for this. We've done tons of research. We've done our research and put in our work to get all this information. So it's not just 45 minutes we're giving you out of our time. It could be a whole week. It could be the year-long process of learning how to sell beats online, which got us to this point to give you this information. So you guys got to respect that.
And Chris is from his side, he's 6 hours ahead of us.
Yeah.
Like,
he's in the UK.
So sometimes our webinars may be later, and he went to work all day, came home, ate, and hopped right on to, you know what I'm saying, to do this. And it's like, and he still has to do what he has to do as far as his music business is concerned. You know what I mean? So there's a lot that goes into it.
Right.
Anyway.
I've got a couple more I'd like to get into, unless you guys got. Oh shit! Y'all heard that? I don't think y'all heard that.
You got a storm going on your way.
I hope my electricity doesn't. I got a surge protector on this, but I don't think my internet's linked up to it. I've got a UPS, uninterrupted power supply, but I don't know if it's it's just sounding nasty out there. Anyway.
I know for the only thing I wanted to mention was I got a message, and I get this message from producers and artists that, you friend people, not everybody, all of us got people on our Facebook list that aren't our friends. 90% of people probably aren't. But I get this message, I'm not going to say who it is, please watch so-and-so's video link. I've got, for the last 2 weeks, I've got 10 links in my email from one person asking me to check out their video and their mixtape. No rapport. They haven't asked me anything. I don't know who you are. Nothing. Just come check out my music or vote for me to get on some mixtape. Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
I haven't clicked the link yet from this person or anyone else who sent me that type of message. I'm not going to click the link ever, and it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of my time. It's an invasion. It's literally just like, stop. Just don't do that. If you're doing that to people, like if you want someone to vote for your music or vote for your thing, post it on your wall. If the people who see it, if they want to do that, fine. But
use the attraction marketing, or use the kind of marketing strategies that we teach. You know, that are effective, that draw people in. It kind of all goes full circle. Like, you don't need to spam people because you know how to properly market.
Yep.
And you know how to properly market because you've studied it and you've learned. You see what's working for you.
And if you don't know how to properly market, you need to click the link below this video and let us show you how to properly market.
And that's a damn fact. But I want to get into another one of these samples, which this actually was a good. This actually was a conversation that the guy got a response out of me, and I want to explain why. This may or may not have worked for everybody that he contacted. This worked for me in this particular case. Is primarily his opening. You know what I mean? And I want to get into, read a little bit of this. So he hit me up on Facebook. It was late. I was still up, because I'm one of them night owls, grinding like I know a lot of you producers are, working to them wee hours in the morning. But basically, he sent me a Facebook message. Hey man, I apologize for hitting you up so late. By the way, so he says such and such is amazing. He's mentioning some products that he's bought from me, right? So he's letting me know up front he's a customer. That's what he's saying. He's saying, first off, I respect your time. I'm sorry for hitting you up so late. Then he follows up with, your product such and such is amazing. You know what I mean? So he's a customer. I was wondering if you ever felt blah blah. He gets into basically, he's a young producer. He's just getting started. He feels discouraged about his production and all that. Again, he follows up with some more stuff. He says, I apologize if this is a bother. Just looking for some encouragement. If there's any information, any insight you can give me, whatever, right? So first off, he's a customer, man. It's like he's already invested in helping me do what I do as an entrepreneur. I didn't like go in and check and make sure that he like bought from me. I just assumed he's being genuine. He's respecting my time. So I say, okay, cool. I'm gonna respond to this guy. So I just have like a 5-minute conversation going back and forth, just helping him work through. I was telling him some little things about if you get in a beat block, like things that can help with that, if that's what you're going through, and whatever. It took like 5 minutes of my time. He was happy. He at the end he follows up. He says, I appreciate it, and again I apologize for disturbing you again. And just like, you know what I mean? He's being genuine, and it's like that. That's the kind of people that I'll take time out to help, even though it's taking time out of my day. It's fine. Like, he's respectful. He's getting to the point, and it took 5 minutes to do that. Now, if he had come at me a different approach, I probably wouldn't have responded, or I just would have said something and not really helped him as much as I did. So I don't know what you guys see with that.
He respected your time.
Yeah.
He was genuine, and he respected your time and respected who you were.
I mean, literally,
that's a big thing.
He knew who you were. He respected you. Like, literally, all the things that you're supposed to do, he did.
The thing is, it's like,
put yourself in your shoes. Like, okay, I know you're busy. Like, can you take some time out to just kind of help me with this? And that was it. Like, and even after you did that, he hit you back to say thank you for even taking that time out.
Yep.
Like, you don't understand how big a thank you is. Like,
because you don't hear it that often anymore.
Yep.
The thing is, you're not gonna go up if you're a guy. You don't go up and ask a girl to marry you right away. You go meet her, make sure like you guys live together for a little while, and you actually like this girl. She's not weird and she doesn't do things. You build a rapport with her. You build a relationship with her, and you got to learn how to do that in messaging. And he did it very well. He respected your time. He did all the things. He was being courteous. He treated you like you wanted, like how he would want to be treated if someone messaged him and he was in your spot, and that's what works, honestly.
Yeah, and it's like entitlement. So if he had not said thank you, he had not said what he said in the beginning, he comes across right from the jump as somebody who's entitled to the information, and I hate it. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when dealing with people online, is them coming at me with some sense of entitlement. I'm telling you, number one. So if you're doing it, even if you don't know that you're doing it, figure out what you got to do to correct it. Because if you're not getting responses to your messages like you feel like you should, that might be what's killing it for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Showing Showing appreciation goes a long way. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You know, there's some people who will speak to someone and the next day they get forgotten about, and there's some people that will get spoken to and their name gets remembered. They get shout outs, they get hookups.
Yep.
It's a long-term relationship, and it's just about how you go about it, you know.
One thing I want to mention too about this conversation real quick. I know we've been going on for a while. I'm not sure how long we've been on yet, but the fact that, again, I already said this, but the fact that he mentioned he's a customer. Like, if you're contacting somebody for whatever reason, whether it's about a purchase or not, let them know you're a customer. Like, don't, if they don't know who you are, let them know who you are.
Yep.
If you bought one of their products, you bought a beat from them, man, I love this track. I love the production that you're making. I leased a beat from you in the past. I just want to hear you up this quick question. They're going to be 10 times, 100 times more likely to put you on a priority because you're a customer.
And not even if you're not a customer, connect with them in a different way. I had this person who hit me up on my fan page. He says, first off, I admire your work ethic. Your tips are super helpful. I'm a producer too, and I'm struggling with something. Do you have any advice for me? Like, he let me know that he's a fan and he admires what I do and he respects what I do. So he's not a customer, but yeah, I took the time out and answered him and answered his questions.
Exactly. But if you are a customer of somebody and you're contacting them, let them know. Let them know what you bought from them. Like, let them know that. That's good information from somebody who's running the customer service to put you at a priority. If you haven't, just all you can do is be respectful and be polite and be courteous. But if you bought a product from them, let them know, man. Let them know.
There's a book that we've all read, which is kind of what brought this whole thing together, and it's just about influence. And in that book, they have like 6 ways to make a lasting impression, and it starts with the approach. Like, how you approach someone is going to lead to the connection that you have with that person, which is going to lead to the relationship you build with that person, which leads to the influence that you may have over that person, and that influence is going to lead to a sale or a conversion of some sort. So if you approach me, or if I approach you in a good way, we're going to have a good connection. That good connection can grow into a good relationship. That good relationship could be to me respecting what you do and you having some type of influence in, if you want me to do something, if you want me to buy something, I'm more likely to do that because of all those other things that led up to that point. It's the know, like, and trust. It all goes back to that in general. If I know you, or if I know you, I like you, and I trust you, if you offer me something, you put something in front of me, I'm more likely to buy whatever it is that you're selling because of those 3 reasons. And that's what you want to build with every single customer that you have. Like, a customer buys 1 beat from you. A client's going to buy beats from you over time. And you don't want the one sale. You want somebody who knows, likes, and trusts you because they're going to keep buying from you. They're going to keep that relationship is going to help you in the long run. And it's not just about money. You know what I mean? It's not just about money, but you build a relationship with people. You make better music that way. Period.
And good music sells.
Exactly. And another thing with the building relationships, I do this. I don't know if you guys do this, but with my customers, my clients, the ones that buy beats from me all the time, I tell them right off the bat, like, do you know any artists that are looking for tracks? If you are, tell them I got beats and we'll split the price. Well, in their head, they're like, oh, word, 50-50, I can make some money. Yes, you can make some money.
It's a word of mouth affiliate commission. It's a word of mouth affiliate commission. That's what it is.
What I'm doing is I'm using their influence on whoever it is that they know. They know, like, and trust them. They may not know, like, and trust me, but they know them. And that builds another relationship. It's like money that I didn't have. I don't have a problem splitting money I didn't have because now I have another client. And that leads to me getting more clients because I'm going to tell them the same exact thing. Oh, where we built that relationship up? Well, if you know any artists are looking for tracks, we can split that money. And I don't know about you guys, but I want to make as much money as I can with as many people as I can. I don't want to have to keep looking for artists if I know that these people have influence in their scene and they can push it for me.
By the way, you're mentioning about that audio, the resource, that book. We actually have that audio. It's an 8 module audio series, as well as a ton of other resources. But that's included in the team for you. So that's one that we basically have used as a foundation for this whole entire webinar right now.
Yep.
We got time to do a couple more examples because I want to get into one little kind of script and thing. Obviously, this is a terrible one. I don't know how long we've been on, but basically, this one is another message. This is the ones that we get all the time. This is like a spam message. Instead of saying, check this out, basically he's asking for feedback on this. Is this a good track? Post a link. This spam, that obviously doesn't get responded to at all. So it's just another example of a terrible way to start a conversation with somebody. Here's another one real quick from it's another Facebook message. Guy introduced himself. Never talked to this guy before. Again, most of these people I've never talked to unless I already said that we had prior conversation. So somebody I never talked to messaged me on my fan page. Hey, introduce himself. I have 2 albums recorded. My social media links are this. I'm searching for someone to help me out. So I saw your page and here's my info. He's looking for somebody to help him out. He introduced himself. He's looking for somebody to help him out. So I messaged him. I said, if I can help you out, like, ? He's like, yeah, can you please help me? I said, help you what? He says, be a superstar, like be my producer. He says, I have potential, I have talent, please help me. Okay. Okay, so the note that I made was, I mean, come on. He didn't. It was all wrong. It was basically the whole thing was wrong. He's introducing himself, which is fine. He's not being considerate of my time. He's talking about him from the jump. He's coming across desperate. Was really the huge turnoff. Like, if you are if you're so talented and you have what it takes, then what are you doing? Like, you don't have any fan base built. What work have you put in to even attempt to build a fan base? I go to the social media just out of curiosity. Well, not out of curiosity. I knew what I was going to see. I knew it before I went there, but I just went to confirm what I had already known, and he's not putting in any work. He's just looking for handouts because he thinks he's got talent. It's like,
and that goes for producers too. Like, it's not just artists. I'm sure we've all gotten producers that have asked for help, and you offer, and you go to their page to see, okay, well, what are you doing? Do you got a website? No. Do you got a flash store? No. Do you have a blog? No. Do you do paid advertising? No. Like, how am I supposed to help you if you're not willing to even start to help yourself? And then a lot of times I can refer you to a video that we've done or that I've done or that anyone on the panel's done, and we'll check out this video that T Customs put up. He talks about this. And if I give you that video, I always check people's pages to see if they implement anything. And I'll hit back. I'll be like, yo, so did you check it out? Oh, I didn't have time. Or no, I didn't do it. Like, don't ask for help if you're not willing to help yourself. Like, most of the time it's like, I shouldn't take like my own time to like show you a video, but it's like, all right, go ahead, check it out.
Yep. That's the ultimate. Let me interject. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
Interject. The ultimate disrespect is when you ask somebody, you ask for their time, you're taking their time, they give you information, and then you don't apply it, or they send you a link to a video and you don't watch the video. That's like that's like a slap in the face, more so than just messaging people, taking their time, sending them an email, an inquiry, and for asking for information. But if they give you a response and you don't even use it, that's like the ultimate disrespect. So why am I even taking time out of my day to do this? But it takes, I think, again, it comes down to the main things we've been talking about the whole time. Time is
Time is
all
our
we
most
got. When
important.
we strip everything else away, time's all we got, man. Time's all we got. So
Yeah.
keep it short, concise, to the point. Know who you're talking to. Have a background of the person that you're contacting. One last example, if you guys are cool with this, this kind of highlight. This is actually part of a script that I've used to contact people online, and I want to give it away in this. I want to give it away a little bit of it in this webinar, and this has helped me to distribute some of my products on some other websites online. So basically, I'm contacting a company to distribute one of my products. They already have a brand built, and my product fits kind of what they're doing. So this is a kind of a script.
Let me interject real quick.
Yep.
I was just watching Internet Marketing Coach, and he says, modeling is okay. Copying is 100% not okay. He's giving you this information right here, so model from it. Don't rip what he's saying, because for one, it's not going to be as effective if you use it again, and you want to tailor it more towards yourself. So with that said,
but I still want to give him something. So
exactly.
I'm not going to give it all, but I want to give some of the highlights. So basically, and I'm going to paraphrase. I'm not going to say exactly what's here. So anyway. So basically, like I said, I'm kind of setting this up. I am contacting a business about one of my to distribute one of my products on their site, right? So just keep that in mind with this conversation. So like, say, hey, I introduce myself, who I am, my company. Okay, this is how I started off. I have a quick inquiry that will not take much of your time. That's how I start this off. Okay, I know this person's getting a ton of emails a day. Hey, I'm this. I have a quick inquiry that not take much of your time. I go on to say straight to the point, and I get into exactly what it is, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I got a couple highlights on here that I want to talk about. I get into. I describe a little bit more about what my product is, how it will fit on their site, and so I have this. It says, I would very much appreciate the consideration, as I know there is money to be made for both parties, right? Because they're going to be distributing a product. I'll be getting a cut. They'll be getting a cut. So first off, I'm respecting their time. I'm getting right to the point, and I'm letting them know that there's money to be made as a business. I mean, those are the things that you want to hear as a business person when you're going to check your emails as a beat maker. You're going to check your emails about people inquiring about beats. Are they talking money? Are the artists talking money? Are the whoever's hitting me up, are they talking money? If they are, it gets moved to the forefront. It's just the way it is. We're running businesses, so I'm not going to take much of your time. There's money for both people. I go and describe a little more. I end it with, looking forward to hearing back from you. Thanks in advance for your time and consideration. My close. So this has worked for me. You know, this type of structure of an email has worked really well for me, and I feel like kind of develop at least some sort of, I wouldn't say like a set script, but at least kind of know when you're messaging people, have some things in mind that you want to open with, that you want to close with, that kind of get these points across. You want, especially if you're not getting the responses that you know you should be when you're sending inquiries about a product, or you're messaging somebody for information. You gotta course correct. I mean, if it's not working, then switch it up. You gotta look at what you're sending from an objective point of view. You know, that's a lot of what it is. It's like with our music production, and they say my beat's hot, or why isn't this working? Well, you're looking at it from a subjective point of view. You're looking at it from just the way you're seeing it. You're not taking outside the box and putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and saying, okay, how are they really seeing this message? So that's just a little couple points to help you. It's worked for me, and maybe you can take it and apply it to your messaging and emailing in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So.
I know we've been on for like way
a minute, but I guess if we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah. Does anything else? Does any other examples or anything else? Yeah, I feel like we wrap it up. We've been on long enough, but really just.
It comes under them two things that he said at the beginning. Mm-hmm. All of this stuff really points back to those things, with a few exceptions here and there.
Don't feel like you're entitled to anything, because you're not.
No one owes you anything in life. For that matter. Anywhere.
Yeah.
No job owes you nothing, whether you're at a 9 to 5. We don't owe you anything. Go out there and get it.
For real. And just put yourself in the position of anyone you're trying to holler at or you're trying to sell anything to. Just look at it from their perspective. Treat others how you would want to be treated, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say we close it out.
Close it.
Because you're on mute.
Muted, bro.
I couldn't unmute myself. I'm like, what the hell? All right. I'm like, yo, I'm muted and I can't unmute myself. All right, yo. So if you're a producer and you want to get help and you need, more help selling beats, you want to learn how to market, how we market, and you want to build your business and a lucrative business online, you need to click that link below, get in GTS movement, let us show you the ropes, and get you started. It's your boy V Kush. I'm out.
Hey guys, if you made it this far, you're at the end. You've been through this webinar for a quick minute, so you're obviously at this point you're very interested in this kind of concept. Maybe you're not seeing the results with your emailing and messaging and selling beats in general, building a lucrative business. I mean, that's what this is about. It's more than selling beats is one thing, but building a business, building multiple income streams is really how entrepreneurs are sustaining full-time businesses. So selling beats, all these things apply, man. Building relationships with people, communicating effectively with your relationships and with your business. So if you got value with this, there's gonna be a link below. There's so much more inside. Like basically the audiobook that we based this entire webinar around is there for you. It's an 8-module audiobook, as well as the slew of the other resources that we have. So we'll see you guys on the inside and make it a great day.
It's your boy KC, and again, like you said, it's a lot in there, and you don't have to waste a lot of time because that's our most valuable thing. Trying to find all this information, it's all there for you. So if you want it all there and you're ready to take your business to the next level, be sure to click that link. It's your boy KC. I'm out.
What's good? It's Chris Yo. Yeah, again, well done for making it through the whole webinar. Look, we've got tons of bonuses to give you, so all you need to do is click that link and then grab all your bonuses.
Get that action plan, that action plan ready, that 90-day action plan ready for you. I mean, it's not just free for all. Like we've got scheduled. This is how you do it. We got the thing set up for you. It's just a matter of you taking action on it, get the ball rolling. I mean, that's all it is. That's really all it is.
A blueprint to success, and we have it. You can have it. And it's as simple as you clicking that link and getting the blueprint.
I don't want to drag this out too long, but yeah, honestly, I just finished up my 90 days about 2 weeks ago, and y'all have seen in the results, I've been almost posting a result for a sale every day in there, so it's working for me.
The results spreads off the charts. I made a post about this the other day. Like it's going crazy right now, and I'm not just trying to hype that shit up. Like I'm uber impressed with the results that everybody in the team's getting. So shout out to everybody putting in work.
Yeah. Shout out to Skinny and everybody else too. Skinny, Blessed Pen. Everybody that's getting results.
And the new guys that just jumped on recently that are getting things going. Shout out to all you guys.
Everybody.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what's up. Click the link below. We'll see you guys when you get inside the GTS movement group. And I'll holler at y'all on the next webinar. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.